Welcome to this session of Acts class for January 2021, The Church and the Communion of Saints. This section, section 6, is titled Habits of Being the Church. My background, personally, is in practical divinity. That's another name for ethics or moral theology. Basically, what does Christian life look like? That is what really fascinates me and gets me going. So I'm going to share with you today some of the habits that I've developed of practicing being the church. We've had a lot of heady talk about what the church is and images and what the prayer book says in the Bible. When it comes down to it, the church is a body that loves each other because Christ first loved it. So how do we practice loving the church, that amorphous reality? How do we make it tangible and practical? Here are some of the ways that my parish and my family and myself practice doing that. So every week, our bishop, Bishop Eric of the Diocese of San Joaquin, Bishop Eric Maniz, visits a parish. And at the start of our service, our priest, my husband, Father Howard, announces that parish, and we pray for Bishop Eric and for his safe travel, for anyone who will be confirmed, for that parish and their clergy. To me, this helps to make real the diocese as one of the units of the church. So there's the congregation, and then we're part of a diocese. That can seem kind of difficult to get a handle on, so praying every week for where Bishop Eric is helps me to stay focused in that wider body and to remember Christians beyond my congregation. A second thing that our congregation does to stay connected to the wider church is to participate in the Anglican Relief and Development Fund. So we have these mite boxes. People take them home, they put their change in, and then there are projects from churches around the world that they suggest to the Anglican Relief and Development Fund that would benefit their ministry, and we have the opportunity to contribute. We've contributed to the purchase of a boat in Madagascar and all kinds of other things. Right now, we're participating in building classrooms for a school, Good Shepherd Academy, in Juba, South Sudan. And we pray every week for that school and its priest, Father John Chol. And that's a wonderful way for us to remember the church beyond our parish. Another way that our parish participates in the wider church in a practical way is supporting missionaries monthly. We have missionaries that we support to Chile and to North Africa. And every day in my personal intercessions and every week in our parish intercessions, we pray for the Smith family in Chile and for the Bernardi family and their ministry in North Africa. That's a way of making the church real. Another way, in terms of intercessory prayer for individuals, this was first shared with me by Bishop John David Schofield many years ago, is to keep a prayer notebook. And so here is my rather messy and much scratched out and rewritten and falling apart prayer notebook. But I keep a list of individuals and I pray for them daily, starting with my family and then for all of the members of our parish. And that way I've remembered before the Lord all the members of my local community, my family and my parish in the mornings. Another way that I've heard that individuals can remember people before the Lord was a story that Father Noah Lawson shared about Bishop Meisner, who served for many years in Africa and was also connected with the Diocese of San Joaquin. And Bishop Meisner would keep index cards for each person that he would pray for. And he had, Father Noah said when he knew him towards the end of his life, boxes and boxes and boxes of index cards where he would record intercessions and prayers that had been answered. And when I think about the holiness that must have been in those boxes, it's quite stunning. This is dedication and discipline and practice. And that's how we become the church to one another, by exercising discipline and practice and remembering one another before the Lord. Another tradition that Bishop Eric recently shared with my family when he visited was that he and his family collect all through Advent the Christmas cards that they receive and then open them on Christmas Eve and pray for every person who sent them a Christmas card. Again, the church in action, a tangible, disciplined way of praying for one another. Another, sometimes perhaps your parish remembers birthdays and anniversaries before the Lord during announcements, or at that time, some churches do that. We have a parishioner, Lynn Miller, and every week when she comes up to pray, she almost always has a list of her whole family that she brings before the Lord with such joy and excitement, 4 or 5 people for that month that she's praying for. It's really beautiful to see that kind of a dedication. Another way to have the church become practical might be to follow the church calendar. So here's one produced by the Anglican Church in North America. Your church or parish may provide them. And it has a listing of saints that the church remembers. We're going to talk about this further. But that keeping the liturgical calendar at home is another practical way of being the church together. Thank you for your time.